Welcome to sensitivity analysis and capital budgeting. This presentation is going to help understand the qualitative and quantitative steps used for sensitivity analysis. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about a couple different things. First, I'm going to give it an introduction into what sensitivity analysis is. I'm going to discuss the qualitative steps used for sensitivity analysis, as well as go over some quantitative steps used for sensitivity analysis. I'm going to talk about incorporating project risk into capital budgeting and follow up with some final tips and key takeaways. I'm going to end with a brief conclusion that's going to summarize everything that I've talked about. What is the sensitivity analysis? Sensitivity analysis is a technique used to determine how different values of an independent variable impact a dependent variable under a given set of assumptions. This analysis helps in understanding the relationship between variables and the project's overall performance. The primary purpose of sensitivity analysis is to identify the key variables that significantly impact project outcomes. By quantifying the effects of these variables, decision makers can better understand the range of potential outcomes and make more informed decisions. Sensitivity analysis also helps in assessing the project's risk profile by showing how changes in key variables affect the project's financial metrics, such as NPV and IRR. There are several steps used to conduct a qualitative sensitivity analysis. You start by identifying the critical variables that significantly impact the project's cash flows and profitability. These could include factors like sales volume, input costs, and market conditions. The next thing you're going to want to do is assign ranges to the variables. For each key variable, determine a range of possible values. This typically includes best case, base case, and worst case scenarios to cover a spectrum of potential outcomes. Define scenarios. Here you combine the different values of the identified variables to create various scenarios. This helps in understanding how changes in these variables affect the project's overall performance. Finally, you want to assess risk and opportunities. Here, you analyze the potential risks and opportunities associated with each scenario. This step is crucial for understanding the project's sensitivity to changes and making informed decisions. Quantitative steps in sensitivity analysis. You want to prepare cash flow projections. To do this, you start by developing detailed cash flow projections for each scenario identified in the qualitative steps. This involves estimating the inflows and outflows of cash over the project's life. Apply the appropriate discount rate to the projected cash flows. The discount rate reflects the time value of money and the risk associated with the project. Next, you're going to want to do some calculations. Here you compute the net present value for each scenario by summing the discounted cash flows. The NPV helps in determining the project's profitability under different conditions. Finally, you want to analyze your results. Compare the net profit value results for the different scenarios to understand the range of potential outcomes. This analysis helps in identifying the most sensitive variables and assessing the project's risk. There are several ways to incorporate project risk into capital budgeting. By adding a risk premium to the discount rate, it helps account for the additional risk associated with the project. This adjusted discount rate reflects the higher uncertainty and potential variability in returns. Setting a payback period involves determining a specific time frame within which the project must return its initial investment. This method helps in assessing the project's risk by focusing on the time it takes to recover the investment. Certainty equivalent. The certainty equivalent method involves converting uncertain future cash flows into certain cash flows using a certainty equivalent coefficient. This approach helps in evaluating the project's risk by considering the level of certainty associated with future cash flows. And finally, sensitivity analysis. It measures how changes in key variables such as sales volume, selling price, and variable costs affect the project's cash flows. This analysis helps in understanding the project's risk profile and making informed decisions. Final tips and key takeaways. So to summarize, sensitivity analysis plays a vital role in capital budgeting by helping to assess how changes in key variables impact project outcomes. It involves identifying critical variables, creating scenarios, and analyzing the results to understand potential risks and rewards. Our key takeaways involve understanding key variables. Identifying and analyzing critical variables such as sales volume, selling price, and variable costs is essential. These variables have a significant impact on the project's cash flows and profitability. The next thing we talked about was preparing for the different scenarios. Creating best case, base case, and worst case scenarios helps in understanding the range of potential outcomes. This preparation allows decision makers to anticipate and plan for various possibilities. We also talked about incorporating risk into decision making. Sensitivity analysis provides the insights into the project's risk profile by showing how changes in key variables affect the NPV. Incorporating risk into capital budgeting decisions ensures a more comprehensive evaluation of the project's viability. In conclusion, sensitivity analysis is an invaluable tool for capital budgeting. It enables organizations to make informed decisions by understanding the potential risks and rewards associated with a project. By incorporating both qualitative and quantitative steps, decision makers can better assess the project's viability and make strategic choices that align with the organization's goals. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on sensitivity analysis and its role it plays in capital budgeting. I hope this better helped you understand the qualitative and quantitative steps, as well as how to incorporate project risk into capital budgeting. I thank you for your time and for listening.